Hello, welcome to my project. What this program does is essentially it takes in a user message, words or numbers, then it'll encrypt that, turn it into numbers, and then it'll turn those numbers into binary. That binary code is then used to draw a barcode, as you can see here. So the reason why I made this program was I essentially just kind of wanted to see what I could do with encryption. I find encryption fairly interesting, and I wanted to see if I could design a way to make encryption with barcodes. So as you can see here, this is the original user input message, and then that message is then translated into a series of numbers, as you can see here. Those numbers are then translated into binary, which the binary then gives instructions to the turtle to draw out this barcode here. So let me show you a little bit about how this program works. So essentially whenever you start it, it'll ask you over here for the message that you want to encrypt. So we'll do something simple for right now. We will start out just saying hello. So then once you enter that in, you'll go over here to the window and you can watch it draw out the message. Once it finishes, it prints out the numbers that it was translated to and the message. So we can X out of this window, and like I said, this will essentially work with any size message. However, some messages become too long and the code will go outside of the window. Unfortunately, there's nothing that can be done about that unless you had a bigger monitor, which could hold a longer single barcode message. But we can do a bit of a longer message here, so I can say, my name is Robert. And it'll start to draw out, and the longer the message, the longer it will take to draw. The turtle function will only draw things so fast, so we'll just kind of let this go through. So there we go, it finished up right there. So what this program could actually be used for is just a simple encryption. You know, if you want to leave a small encrypted message for a friend and you don't want anyone else essentially to know what it says, because if they just see this line of barcode, they won't think anything of it. They won't think that it is an encrypted message. There is one very unfortunate downside of this project, and that is, as of now, the barcodes are currently not readable. When I first started this project, I had a different idea on it, and I didn't realize that there were multiple different types of barcodes. I thought that UPC barcodes were the only one. So what I was going to do is have a message split up into several different UPC barcodes, essentially however many it would take, and each barcode would be scanned, and you could put the information together to come out with your final message. I didn't realize that there were different versions of barcodes that could have varying length and essentially unlimited length. By the time I realized that there were multiple types of barcodes, I was already too far into my coding, and I did not have the time to restructure my code to make this into a certain type of code called 128B, which would essentially let the barcode have unlimited length. Different types of barcodes have different rules to them to make them work. So I would have to insert extra information into the middle of this barcode in order to make it scannable. So while this code is currently not scannable in any current barcode style, another barcode style could be created to read this barcode and then translate it back into the original message. That would essentially mean that if you did create a translator to decrypt this barcode, it would be exclusive to you and whoever you gave it to. So it would only further increase the encryption of this barcode system. So some things that I learned from this are how to use dictionaries as translators, which is actually how I did encryption where you put in the original message, which turns it into numbers. I used a dictionary to hold a specific number value for different characters and keys. As I mentioned previously, I also learned about the different types of barcodes that there are. So looking back on this project now, if I had have known about these other types of barcodes, I would have started building and structuring my code from the very beginning to essentially make it to where these barcodes would have been readable and translatable. Um, I also learned a lot more about classes through this. And overall, I just believe this was generally a really fun and interesting experience. While it doesn't completely work as I originally intended, I am still pretty happy with the final outcome.